Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the seminar on recruitment. I'm Wolf Higgins. My partner here.
Marilyn Welcome.
My interest in cadets started in 1942 when I joined the Sea Cadets, and I was with them for 8 years. Not because I'm a slow learner, but I lied about my age when I got in, and they kept me for 1 year as a CI after I maxed out. During that 8 years, I went to high school, and of course, Army cadets were mandatory in those days, so I had 2 years with the Army cadets at Stafford CVI. And at that time, I learned how to drive, which, again, we can't do that today because of insurance and things like that. After I retired from the militia, I had 3 years with the Air Cadets as a CIC officer, so I've been all around all the elements, and we'll try and give you some of my information as we go along. I'd like to introduce Marilyn Welcome.
Hi everybody, I have been with the support committee with 223 Stratford for, the first 5 years, and then the last 3 as liaison officer, and now on the board of directors with the league. So I'm kind of getting every level of everything. So yeah, we're here to talk about recruiting, and we hope that somebody has some information, and we're going to just share some things and go from there.
Thank you.
Okay, so our new recruits, where are they? Well, they should be in school. They are 12 to 16, 17-year-olds that we want to get, so they should also be in school. So they're the ones we're going to target.
Well, for COs and officers of the Corps, when you approach a school or a school board or a principal, the secret is you have to really, really be prepared. When I started the Clinton Corps, I went to the principal of the Clinton Christian Elementary School. Now that word Christian should have rang up here, but it didn't. I went in, I explained to myself who I was and what I was going to do, try and recruit students, and she said to me, "Mr. Higgins, you will not take any of my children to make little soldiers." That's the first time I ever heard that phrase outside. I've heard it, in board meetings and so on and so forth. So I made a mistake. I should have been more prepared. I should have gone and found out who I was going to be approached and make up something. So I want to tell you about a little quote that I think is very important. People must understand that joining Army cadets is not an obligation to join the military. The cadet movement is a national youth organization that has a military flavor in order to instill pride in self, leadership skills, and pride in Canada. That was a quote by Mr. Jerry Kasoris, who's joined us today from Thunder Bay. It's very, very important that we don't give the military flavor to our submission to these schools. Tell them that the cadet movement is the biggest movement in Canada as youth, and what we can do for them, in other words, in other ways. So be prepared, like Lord Baden Powell said, be prepared when you go and see these people. Have pamphlets and leave them, and then possibly go back and see them later on when they've digested what we're going to do. If you have a video which is available at the office of the league, and maybe put that into the teachers and the principal also. Utilize cadets. I think myself that the cadets can do as much or more than we can as recruiters. You'll notice over here I took to my Clinton Corps a board, and I went to the kids and I said, make me something up to recruit, and this is what they come up with. Now there's a letter in there from one of the senior cadets. If you have time, read it. It's I wish I should have made those out for a handout also. But this is what they did. Those pictures are all of our cadets in the Clinton Corps. So when they go to a school, a high school or wherever, and set that up, Some of the people will remember, see them, and they go and ask them about the different things that they do in the Corps and so on and so forth. Have equipment out. If we have an open house in September or whenever you can, have the equipment out. Have the GPS out, have the rifles out, have whatever you've got that you use to show the kids what equipment they can get at. I see Tim here with his canoes. Wouldn't it be nice to say, hey, come row with us or ride with us or whatever? What you have, we'll use what you have. Utilize whatever you have in your hands at the time. Display rifles, air trophies, medals, and you have to sell, sell, sell. You might have the best widget in town, but if you don't sell it, you're going to have a pocket full. Next.
Newspaper ads. So be original. Think of something that fits your area. So if you're from a little community, you're going to do what you can do in your little community, or if you're bigger, maybe you can target a bigger area. Mention the affiliation of your unit. That's a good one. Mention a band if you have one. Maybe they have a music program in the school that they have band members, and maybe those kids will be the ones that will end up being your future cadets. Advertise barbecues. You could have free hot dogs and charge $1 for the pot. You're going to get hopefully your money back, but also make some money too, and it's also going to get out and everybody's going to see it, and they'll bring their friends and hopefully recruit that way too.
Okay, ads. Ads can be expensive, but you talk to your radio station, especially in the smaller communities. Local radio stations are usually looking for something to add on their public service advertisement bulletins or whatever. Same with TV, especially cable companies. They usually, most of them have on the Sundays, they have a full hour of public announcements, things like that. So you can work on that. Again, sell. Business cards. We're going to show you one later on, but that's also what you can use in that respect. Television. Some people can get a web page free. They're still out there. They'll put up a web page for you for free. Computer. Tell them about our website, the cadet website. Prizes. This one's a sticky one. I tried this in Kearney. I have for $25 for the cadet that brought in the most recruits, $15 for the second most, and $10 for the third. I got one cadet that brought in one recruit, which cost me $25, and that was it. So possibly a prize, a pen, or a compass, or something like that will be more in tune. If they bring in, like Tim does, all of his people, how about a Porsche or something like that? Whatever you can do. Business cards, I already mentioned.
Okay, there is a similar business card kind of handed out, I guess, at a CO's conference, and this is roughly a sample of what we've been told it kind of looks like. So you have your logo, you have the welcome, and you've asked to join the Corps that's in your area. And for more information, here's our address, and I guess you could put your phone number on there. That would be beneficial, and where it's located.
Good.
Retention is the key, so there are some do's and some don'ts, and hopefully there's more do's listed than don'ts, but we'll go through some of them.
Early sports nights. As soon as you can in the beginning of the season, get them active. For God's sake, don't just bring them in, put them down on the table, and start talking to them like they do at school. Prepare for November the 11th. That's coming up right after they come. And also the VIMI, that's going to be big this year. The videos will be out by then, and you could give them a course on that. Have early exercises, field trips, visit a military museum if one is available, and keep the kids together and maybe go to them and have them clean up a vet's yard in the wintertime or in the fall. And one thing you can do, we did in Kearney, is go to the MTO and have a road cleanup. You get a nice shiny sign at each end of the road. Cadets cleaning, they'll have the name in it, Kearney Cadets clean up, and it's there year-round, so that'll help a bit. Thing is there, you have to be safety conscious, but the MTO give you everything, the vests, the equipment to pick up the garbage, and so on and so forth. And it's also community-minded. The people will see you and know that who's done it. Start a rifle program if you can. Just early. You don't have to start them shooting, but at least get them familiar with the weapons and show them what they're going to do in the future. Uniforms, give them as quickly as possible, and because you don't want them to be in civvies figuring they're on the outside looking in. Get those uniforms as quickly as possible. Give them a history of the cadets if possible. You can get that from the Cadet League too. More. Another thing I think is very important is have a color party on parade of the older cadets. It gives them a little feeling of pride in the organization that they're in. And show them badges and things that they can see and work on in the future, the medals. Introduce new cadets to the Corps. When they come in, introduce them on parade and have another older cadet possibly talk to them and tell them if they need help to come and see him. Okay, I think the carrot is fixed.
Easter's coming.
It's always nice to dangle a carrot with young people.
Okay, so Wilf did do this recruiting display. I lost the word.
Competition.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. So he gave $100 to the Corps that was going to be the winner, and with his idea of recruiting, which was awesome, we found out that the winning Corps was 2964 Walden Irish Army Cadet Corps out of Naughton. And this is
what it looks like.
in color.
Now this looks to be very professionally done. It's supposed to be done by the cadets. I hope it was. But it's just to take out pretty well from the pamphlets that that we send out or give out to the people. I still like the idea of letting the cadets do it themselves because each area is a little different, and the people we're trying to bring in will see that. They know the people the pictures are on there, and I lean towards that. But this was the winner, and it's well done, I must say. Now, the other carrot I'd like to give is when I started the Corps up in Kearney, at Christmas time, I got these for the kids. Now, if you buy them in bulk, I got a dozen for $100. We had about 36 cadets, so I just figured out $300. And they just love these. But on the back, you can't get cheaper advertising than that. And in the middle of winter, and up in, as Jerry can tell you, up in north, it gets cool in the wintertime, but these kids were wearing these to school. Under a coat, I'm sure, but it went over well. We gained quite a few cadets after they started wearing that. So it's always nice to give them something. The cadet pens, you can pass them out, 35 cents a piece. You can't beat it, really. And it's got the name there. That's if they give them out to their friends or let their friends see them, whatever. The name is always out there. It's advertising, and that's what we have to do.
Well,
Yes,
sorry. Since you paid the $100, is there any way of getting an alterable version of Naughton's flyer that they did, so that we could take advantage of that, and take it where it says Naughton and put Orleans and our little personal information top and bottom.
Oh, sure.
Because something like that, if it was PDF, it could be turned into a poster and be put up in every school.
Yeah.
Because they did stay with the common look and feel that public relations is looking, or public affairs is looking for, like it was the right pictures, it was, the right feel was on there. It would be awesome if we could get a non-PDF version of that, so that we could.
Yeah, but,
The right program, you can download the website and get the source code and change the source code.
I'm really,
Well, you got somebody to,
Give it,
record.
realistically, give it to your cadets. They can produce that in half an hour.
you're right.
I just, why reinvent the wheel, that looked fantastic, like that was, that's all.
What you do is you give them that, here's a template. Build one for us based on this template.
Does Naughton have a website that we can grab that from?
I'm sorry?
Does Naughton have a website that has that on? Like, I'm just asking for a copy of that image, that's all.
Yeah.
This one, yes, it's on their website, which is on the, I think it's here somewhere. Well, they just got Cadet CA, but I think they must have it on their website. That's this one you're talking
Yeah.
about, yeah.
You don't have copies of them?
Yeah, 2964 ArmyCadets.net.
2964.
Here, I'll give you this one.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry we didn't, I thought that we were going to have one of these for pass, but maybe we can pass that around too.
Some of the don'ts, well, actually, we can only think of two. We've got many do's, but don't put them in a classroom right off the bat. They've just came from school, and they've had a teacher talk to them all day. They're full of energy, and they just want to go and exercise. So to keep them not from being bored and thinking it's just, let's go to school again, maybe start with something other than a classroom if possible. Drill. Don't drill them too hard maybe at the start. We've been told that Air Cadets say that all the Army Cadets do is march. So I don't know if anybody else has any don'ts, but that's all we could come up with.
Yeah, I ran into this in Godrich when I started the Clinton Corps. A young lad next door to me wanted to join cadets, and Clinton is about 12 miles down the road, so I thought, well, I'll keep him in Godrich. I took him to see the Air Cadets, and he gave up and gave his little spiel, and he said, now don't join the Army Cadets. This is his word. Don't join the Army Cadets, because all they do is march. Well, that hit me wrong, and I just stood up and I said, well, it was just after our 125th anniversary. And I said, Wayne, I said, a lot of kids must like marching because we just had our 125th anniversary. That kind of quietened that, but, that's their attitude. Activities, I'm sure you're all familiar with this, but you've got to keep these young people busy. Canteens, you all have a canteen, I'm sure, make a little bit of money for the Corps. Bands, if you have a band, or even if you can start a band. In Kearney is a village of 800 people, but it's 1,000 square miles. It's the biggest town in Ontario, maybe Canada, I don't know. So they're really spread out. And I got some instruments I borrowed from North Bay, Sea Cadet Corps that was defunct up there, and I give them to the kids and just let them bang away and go ahead.
Question. We lost our band officer. How can I find one?
Where are you from?
Ottawa.
Oh my
Governor
God,
General's
the
Fund.
Musicians Union. Go there.
2 years we've
Or
not.
go to the one of the bands, the military bands. Ask one of their.
Ask the military. Yes.
Sure, there's got to be somebody in there that says, sure, I'll do it. What type of band do you have? Bugle or pipes?
No, full band.
Full band. See
Dad,
your militia. School teacher that teaches music in the school.
does that have to be the CO that initiates that, or to the parent support committee?
Support committee, anyway,
You can,
sure.
okay. So it's
Through
just
the
a case of
CO.
approaching and asking.
See it through. After you
Yeah,
find them,
through the
go to the CO and has to have all his papers and qualifications, so on and so forth. Yeah, definitely. Get them involved in sports if you can. If you have a gym, get them playing basketball, volleyball, if there's another corps within, like an Air Cadet Corps or a Sea Cadet Corps, have a competition, keep them busy, for goodness sake. It could be on a Saturday afternoon, Friday night, or whatever you can do. Okay, CIC officers now, we've got all these cadets, we've got to have some officers there to look after them, so this is sometimes a problem. So I'm suggesting that you serving officers must have friends, somebody to play golf with or fish with or whatever, that are not in, and know you are, talk to them. See if you can induce them to get in. Junior executives, this again I think was your idea, Jerry. Places like engineering companies, banks, accounting firms, hotel or restaurant industry. Why? Because junior executives need community involvement experience to help fill out their resumes. Now, in my day, I went out and looked for a job. I didn't have a resume. I didn't know what a resume was. But today, it's very, very important. In fact, most people, I think, have a resume done up by a professional. And as Jerry pointed out, this is very important to these people to fulfill their resumes. And how do you do this? Presentations at service clubs, professional association meetings by a team made up of a league member and a uniformed CIC officer. And the benefit is pride in working in Canada's largest youth movement, developing and improving personal or organizational and leadership skills by wearing the uniform. CIC officers make the CF visible in their community. Also the Legion. These members are military minded, and if they can't do it, maybe they have a relative or somebody that's just joining the Legion, and get them interested if you possibly can. Newspapers. You have to be innovative when you put out an ad. This is what ad I put in. Strong-minded individual who seeks active, challenging pastime. Must be creative, responsible, a born leader, able to make directions and make decisions. Phone, whatever number. You will get calls if you don't tell them what the position is yet. Have them come in. If they're interested, say we'll come in and we'll have a board with you and talk to them, get your information, and tell them what it is. They'll either go that door or come in the other door, one way or the other. But at least you create interest. If you just say, wanted CIC officers for cadet corps, I don't know. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. You've got to kind of stir a little interest. Militia units, yes. I don't know why we don't have more militia officers in, even ones serving young people. Sergeant Bork, why don't you get in? Oh, it's not.
Over here, sorry. I was like, who's he looking at? Make sure you pay.
Well, he's looking at the good one. I'm not a good looking one. I'm sorry.
Hey, it's your lazy eye.
Now, I think we had one militia lad from the RCRs that used to come up to the Corps on a fairly regular basis. I don't know what happened to him. He probably got overseas, but he come up, and I'm sure if he ever gets on the militia, he will come to the CIC.
I can add to that.
Yeah.
Just so you're aware, just out of the 4 RCR, they're looking at liaison and touching base with corps. They're affiliated with them, and having someone come out there and speak on behalf of the program and the affiliate unit and what they're capable of doing and where it's going, almost to a point of recruiting, which may help with the retention and enrollment of cadets in the program. So there is scope of that. There is hope to bring that back into the program. You're starting to see affiliate a lot more often than once a year or every second year.
That would be great because we don't see too much of them, that's for sure.
What's in it for you?
Pardon?
What's in it for you? What?
Well, yeah,
That
well-
whole question, like share, for me as a parent support committee member, how do you recruit?
Well, what we do is, like I just approached one of the unit affiliated our sons the other evening. It's a great opportunity for them. He has a corps within his own armory. They also have a unit. Those units have up and coming junior NCOs. If I have a corps who's struggling, I only have a couple of seniors, the staff are really busy, they don't have time to teach, RSM, I have a great opportunity for you. If you could provide a couple of your junior instructors who can teach math and skill conferences, so now we have professionals teaching our young cadets in uniform. It entices the cadets. They like being taught by reservists, and it gives experience to the young guys in the reserves to actually get out and practice their skills in teaching. So there is no recruiting whatsoever, as in no come join us. There should not be. The potential is out there for someone to say something that's not allowed. But that's the give and go take from the
Okay,
Philippines.
thank you.
Can I build on Warren Flett's point? When we have those sappers and corporals coming into our unit to teach the cadets, what we've said to the CO of the regiment is we can evaluate their instruction for you. So we're giving, no, it's
PDR
awesome.
perks, so you help
No,
people
it's
right up
awesome,
or?
because we're giving them immediate feedback on the instruction of their class in a positive sense. And they're walking away, going on their next level courses, having had the opportunity to instruct, been evaluated, had an opportunity to instruct again after evaluation, improve, and then go on their courses and have really strong instructional skills that helps move them through as they're doing their courses. And we're getting great support from our regiment. So it's a partnership, right? It's supposed to be, the affiliated unit, the Cadet Corps is supposed to be a partnership. It's like the support committee with the Cadet Corps is supposed to be a partnership. Sorry.
Sorry then. And the last one, of course, is school teachers. When you make your first approach to the principals and the teachers, it's mentioned that there's summer employment possibility, plus the fact that they are teachers and good instructors for our Corps, and they know the children too. I think that
So our question to you is, this is kind of what we've put together on how we've polled some people and got some recruiting ideas, and just wondered if everybody else wanted to kind of throw in their own ideas and thoughts and kind of share.
I had the opportunity to visit one of my units down in the St. Catharines area. And I spoke to the senior cadets and asked them why they were still in the Cadet Corps at this time. These are sergeants and warrants and master warrants. One thing they indicated is that cadets fulfills one of their needs at this point in their lives, and that's order and discipline. And my interpretation of discipline and somebody else's interpretation may be different. My interpretation may be mass beatings for discipline. However, that's not allowed anymore, so we resort to other things. One of the indications from all the cadets that were standing in this group was that when I come to cadets, I know what my job is, I know what my responsibilities are, I know what's expected of me. I know what we're doing this week. So one of the things that from the ACO position, or from a detachment position, units that tend to be in disarray do not do well. If there's no organization, if there's stuff just flying around everything, if they're running by the seat of the pants all the time, those units don't do well. They don't get the larger numbers. They may be able to maintain a low number, but anything that falls off the rails is going to drive them under the numbers we need. So that would be one of the things for the retention, is a nice, neat organization so the kids know what's expected of them. And that's what they see as discipline, not the somebody over top of them lording over them, but it's the discipline as in personal discipline they get from it.
all right, thank you. Anyone else? Wow, we need ideas. Jerry.
Just going back to your slide of CIC officer recruiting, one other possible source, parents.
Yes, parents are good recruiters, absolutely.
No, but to recruit as
for-
CIC officers.
CIC officers.
We're both sucked-in parents.
Good, good.
That's what we call them SIPs, right?
They'll work on support committees and parent groups, but as soon as their child graduates from cadets,
They go too.
they're gone
Yeah.
too. So there's their next step.
Yeah.
That's recruit them as CIC officers.
Yeah, it's retention, really, it is. What Captain Bass said is very true in our Corps. We had 3 that were way out ahead, and the rest are all green stars. The reds just somehow just disappeared. So it's an ongoing battle, but I'm sure, you know, ideas keep coming out, we can do it. You have something to say? No? You?
Me?
Yeah, I thought you were going to say something.
I'm not thinking anything on this.
Oh, okay. Captain?
We have a 2-month recruit program that the kids undergo as they join. That way they get a little feel of everything right off the bat. Depending on what time of year they're joining, so even if they join in March, they can still get the same opportunities. And in some cases, it catches them up if they join like in, I don't know, December or January, to catch them up to those kids who actually join in September. So we do it that way. It involves air rifle, a little bit of everything. So,
Do you utilize your senior cadets to do that, or?
yeah, well, at the moment, we don't have enough senior cadets, but eventually I would like to see a recruit NCO.
Mhm, mhm. That's what I think would be the best. I mean, we underrate our young people, there's no doubt about it. We were thinking of our time, and these kids are way ahead of me. I know damn well they are, you know, from what I was like when I was 14, 15, 16 years old. Of course, the war was on then, that made a big difference to me. But today, well, we got Afghanistan, but I don't think that it's not the same as World War
And
II.
we get like a little graduation ceremony too, like we graduate from our
Yes,
program.
definitely, yeah.
So,
Yeah, somebody said, I think, Tim, in yours, a picture of the Corps at the end of the Corps season.
We do that in our Corps too, we have a
Yeah,
picture of
I
it.
think that's a great idea. In fact, I had one, the Corps I started in Kearney. It's now in Berks Falls. I had a picture taken with them the last time they had their end of the year, and I never got it, but I insisted I would have one because I had to travel 200 miles to be the inspecting officer, so I
We use
figured that
ours
was
as
the
a
least.
fundraiser though, our photo, you don't, eh? You give it to your cadets? We do, we have it made into
we
a
see
12
it.
by 18 for $10.
CF Imaging takes the picture and then does all the printings.
How do you get them to go and do that for you?
One of my dads is one of the warrants at CF Imaging.
Very
He's taking
nice.
a picture right now.
Oh, well, it's closer to come to our Corps than it is to yours, maybe I can, I like that. Oh.
I have a question.
Yes.
Amongst the COs here and maybe some of the support committees, how many recruits do you get over the age of 16?
None.
No.
So why are we wasting
I
our,
wouldn't take any.
yeah, and so why are we wasting our dollars in trying to recruit 15, 16, 17-year-olds? I think the effort should be put into retaining those
12
people.
to 14.
12 to 14 is the target group you should be targeting. You're not going to get the 15-year-olds doing recruit training with 12-year-olds.
Right.
So I think the emphasis should be to recruit the 12 to up to 15-year-olds and put your other effort into retaining the 15-year plus. You're not going to recruit 16-year-olds.
One of the things we found when we went through to find out exactly what age groups were getting into the program, 12s are not the big group. 12s is minimal at best. The big group we're seeing are the 13-year-olds, 13 and 14. 15-year-olds are the ones we lose for whatever reason. And as somebody said, that's when cars come into play.
But
And something else, I can't remember what it was.
statistically, if a cadet comes in at 12 and makes it to 14, they stay because they've gotten past that year and a half,
Yeah,
right?
but the numbers say that 12 is not the age we're bringing them in at.
Interestingly enough, we just, as you said that, we have kids coming in the week before their 12th birthday regularly. They're doing the paperwork so that the day they turn 12, they're a cadet. And that happens all, like,
Oh, and
weekly.
we understand that, but when we took and crunched the numbers in
Oh.
WA, in WA, the numbers crunched in WOA, 12 was not the big group. 13 was the big group. 12 are in grade 7. There's a whole bunch of things they're trying to figure out. 8, they're thinking about it. By the time we get to the 14, 15 bracket, they're in high school. That's when you're not normally going to get them into the program. So you've got a window that's a 12 and 13-year-old window. So you have, if you're looking for recruits, those are the ones you have to try and target. I would agree, targeting 16-year-olds is a waste of time. We don't refuse them, but at the same point, at that point in time, it's kind of hard to,
We make it look like it ain't gonna taste too good.
Well, the summer camp, that's the issue that happens then if we have 16.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not gonna bring in a 16-year-old in September and have him bump one of my third-year kids from doing summer training.
That's not the chance.
Not a chance.
Well, that's why I thought, like the recruitments, I'd like to see a senior cadet and one female and one other junior cadet be the recruiting team. And then, as I say, to Jerry, they would be picking up the 12 to 13-year-olds, hopefully, because they'd be 17, 16, a little older. And they got some things on their arms that the kids would like to see, well, you know, what are they all about, so on and so forth. But I don't know of any other corps that does have a recruiting team of cadets. Does any corps here? You do. Any others?
the Corps in Strathroy came up with a policy about 15 years ago when numbers shifted from low 20s to low 50s. And it was just a matter of going to the senior cadets and saying, okay, here's the deal. CEO at the time was tired of spending money on ads, tired of going to schools, tired of doing all of it because it didn't work. So it just came down to the senior cadets. If you want to be a chief warrant officer, I strongly suggest you get out there and do recruiting because at that time, the numbers didn't warrant a chief warrant position. So that's when the cadets at that point in time took over the recruiting program in Strathroy. The Corps still parades roughly 50 cadets. And that's even with the competition of the new air squad that opened up there 4 years ago, parading probably around the same numbers. So if you put it in their hands, they know what the kids want to hear.
Exactly.
We don't.
They talk their
Realistically,
language,
we
too.
don't. And who's going to believe? Who are you going to believe? If I'm a 12-year-old kid, 12-year-old young person, who am I going to believe? A 15, 16, 17-year-old? Or somebody that's a little bit older than that by a lot?
Yeah. I agree. We had a young lad in the Corps in Clinton. We were on, what do they call it, Sergeant Board? They are, or warrant. When they get their numbers get down,
Probation.
probation.
Yeah.
The Corps was on probation. I think we were down to about 17, 18 people. And Dykstra, do you remember him? We were having a vets dinner and the cadets were serving. And out of a blue sky, Dykstra gets up to the front of the crowd and he said, our Corps is in trouble. He said, we need more cadets. He said, I wish all you people here would go and ask your grandchildren or your children to come and join the cadets. Well, we did get 2 cadets out of that. It just blew me away that that kid would just think of that at that time and do that. But, you know, it was great.
Have any of you guys used summer camp as a recruiting tool? And if so, what do you say to parents? Because in the past, our Corps did, and then last year there was a lot of disappointment because very few went to camp. So what do you do to turn that around, or how do you use that? What do you say when you're asked?
30% chance.
It's a lottery.
Okay.
Based on their performance. Not really that.
Attendance.
Throughout the year.
Based on their
attendance.
performance, not lottery.
Well, it becomes a lottery after my 22 spots are exhausted for my 100 kids.
We take our seniors to the grade 7 and 8, and our seniors have made up a PowerPoint presentation themselves. And so they stand in the auditorium and talk to all the grade 7 and 8s, and they talk about what they want to talk about.
So is this during lunch hour or something?
If
Or?
the school lets us come in and they get an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we also go to our fairs. We go to all of our fairs in the surrounding area and just do a booth, and we have our tents set up and that kind of stuff. And I'm from Kearney, so if you want that photo, just give me your info.
Good. You know Simon,
I
he
do. I
promised me, but...
And he has a good heart, but you know what? Things just get lost. So
well, I really appreciate it.
you
'cause-
let me know and I'll get that
Okay.
stuff for you.
Thank you. Any other ideas?
On the
Yes.
support committee side of the house, I know it was introduced, I don't know if they had it, but they were talking about monthly prizes and a year-long big prize for top recruits of the month. So bring a friend. The young 12-year-olds, 13, bring a friend. Every time you bring a new person, you get a check mark.
Have
Whoever
a
gets
bring
the
a
most of
friend
the
night.
month.
Very
Bring a
good.
friend night, get, buy a bicycle for the end of the year, and top recruit for the year gets the bike.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Good idea, like
If-
Canadian
if
Tire,
within-
they'd probably come up with a
That is
prize.
directly within the
It's
sponsorships
important to have
parameters, you got some funds, you want, this is how you're recruiting, by rewards, back to the kids.
One of the cadet corps in Ottawa, in the West End, they do, their thing is, for every cadet that you bring in to become a cadet, you get a ballot. And every new cadet that stays until annual gets a ballot.
Yes.
And they do a draw for a team, each one. So the kid who stayed until annual, there's a draw, and the recruiting cadets, there's a draw.
Excellent,
And
excellent.
there'll be kids fighting over who brought the kid in,
Yeah, excellent.
you know, because they want the ballot.
Non-costing idea is cadet corps who are infantry, they have an extra sash, whoever brings a kid gets to wear the sash for the night, even though no matter what rank he is. He wears it the opposite way, but they like to do anything to put their uniform, they're like Boy Scouts.
Oh, they do, yes, definitely.
Back to the carrots too. It's not only the cadets and the Corps that should be getting the carrots. Things like the giveaway T-shirts that Wilf has there and whatever, those are costing things. And not everyone's a sugar daddy like Wilf is.
Yeah.
But if you find people in the community that would like to buy T-shirts or hats or whatever for the Cadet Corps, all they have to do is send the money to the league, earmarked for that particular corps. They will then get a tax receipt for that donation, and then that money goes straight back to the corps to buy the T-shirts or whatever. So if you find people out there that are willing to give $100 or $150 for things to sponsor a barbecue, all they have to do is send the $150 to the league office. The league will give them a $150 tax receipt. The league does not keep any of the money. It all goes back to the corps, and that sponsors the barbecue.
The thing about barbecues too, if you advertise free hot dogs, if you advertise free hot dogs, that brings a lot of people out, and then you have pop there that they can buy for $1. You're still gonna make 10 or 12 cents on the, and that works pretty good, because a free hot dog is amazing. They'll come out of the woodwork. Yes, sir.
I don't have any particular policy on retention, but somehow over the last 2 years, I managed to get 8 NSE qualified cadets out of a total strength of 42. So how do you do that? Well, to be honest, I don't particularly know. But what I do know is that I deliver the program. And I make sure the cadets understand what the program is and what the advantages are if you stick with it. And after that, I demand that cadets live up to the standards that they have been raised to. So if they're a sergeant or a section commander, they had better call their section. And if their section is deficient on parade, they have to explain to me why. If I have a warrant officer, they have certain responsibilities, and I expect them to carry out those responsibilities. We needed those are the kinds of things that you do, and if they're not living up to it, then they have to make a choice. Do they want the advanced camp, or they want to do staff at summer? And if they do, then they had better do the job. And if they don't do the job, then maybe they should consider leaving. And if I see a cadet that's in a leadership position that isn't living up to the standards that I feel that he should have as a leader, it wouldn't be beyond me to ask him to leave. Because I don't want to have bad examples leading my corps. So I don't have a particular retention policy beyond delivering the program and maintaining a certain level of discipline.
Good
You know, I
advice.
don't offer, I've never offered I tried once offering a program of, if you can bring, the most number of cadets that can be brought in a 6-week period, you're gonna get $150 worth of stuff from this high, some military supply house. I didn't get any, not one. Now, recruiting is something I have to work on, but retention somehow doesn't seem to be a problem if you deliver the program.
Well, you've hit the button, that's why. Yes.
He's exactly right. The program is like any life for us. If you have a horrible boss, you hate to go to work.
Yeah.
The kids go, they have a horrible instructor, they don't want
They
to
don't
go
wanna
to class
go.
anymore. So he's exactly right, and you can hear it in subliminally. He's mentoring his senior cadets to give a good program to his cadets. And that is the key factor. It goes back to don't put them in the classroom all day. If they're gonna be, I can be in the classroom, but I can definitely make it fun to be in the classroom. And that's the key to delivering a program. Instructors come prepared, putting a little spin on it, and making it fun. Because the program, there is not too many carrots for a green or red star. It's really in the silver star. They talk about Zets and expeditions. The first 2 years, the carrots almost got to come from the sport committee. Like if you stick around the whole year, we'll take you to Canada's Wonderland. But they have such a short retention or attention span. Like the end of the year, I need something at the end of the month. So so they got to come up with ways to make small goals for those young kids and then have it fun during the time. That's the only way to retain.
Well, it just proves that there's no magic bullet, but, if we've given you some ideas today that'll help, I hope we have. And go ahead.
Yeah, somewhat on that, and also on a slide, you showed something that I disagree with, and that's about drill. I was having issues, every cadet corps has problems with issues with drill. But I was having a problem in that, we weren't really doing enough during the winter months, and so I insisted, in fact, I co-opted our red and silver stars to be on the drill team. We're gonna have a drill team, we're gonna compete this year, that's it, you're the one in charge, and these are the people who are in charge, and they were told, and they didn't have any choice about it. And they come out and practice, their drill is improving, and they're working together as a team. And physically, it's very demanding. And that's part of the physical fitness. And I tell them, yeah, you're tired. You worked hard today. So the fact that you have them working with drill, the fact that you have them working together as a team, and that there's a certain military discipline about it because they really didn't have a choice in it. I mean, there is a certain development of morale and a certain esprit de corps starting to build because I'm taking advantage of a competition that we're going to be having in May. So, those are the sorts of things that you can do that retain, that build spirit by just delivering the program.
Well, I agree with you, but what we meant when we said don't drill them right off the bat, I mean when they first walk in the door, don't have somebody shouting at them, stand at ease, all the rest of it. Because that'll turn them off, I think, as quickly as any. Now, the lady from Kearney, it's now Burke Falls as headquarters, they did the same thing. They just said to the senior cadets, we want a rifle squad. And how are they? They're great. They were at the last one, and they were all by themselves. They did the whole thing. And it really, really turned out well.
And the seniors are in charge of our drill as well. We have a senior cadet who gets appointed every year, and an officer is just there.
Yeah.
Provided he knows it.
Yeah.
You gotta know it.
Yeah, oh yes, yeah,
Anyone to say that the Army Cadets is all about drill has no idea what the Army Cadet program is about.
yeah.
Right.
No, but that's what they have in their mind, I mean.
Well, that's what I'm saying, the carrots have to be told, there's lectures in there now about what you can expect for your first year, second year, they're always told early in the year. But you always have to remember that in drill for Army Corps, beginning September, the SEAL has a mission. He has to get ready for Remembrance Day parade. He has 1 month, or 2 months, sorry,
Yeah.
to do some. He's got to get those young kids up to a certain standard to be able to stand on parade. So he does have a mission, and they will likely do drill once a week,
Yeah.
minimal.
But if you say it's for November the 11th, it gives them an initiative
Yeah,
to
I
do
understand what you're
that.
saying. That
Yeah.
the introduction should be
Yeah.
very painless.
Yes.
I agree. They should stay off parade. They should be introduced to the RSM. The RSM should deliver them to the class and introduce them to the class. The RSM is the key figure on the floor in my mind, and they should always do the introductions and give them a little spiel about themselves.
Well, the RSM is the regiment, isn't he?
He owns the Corps. I'm just there to make sure it's administered properly. So the RSM's Cadet Corps.
Yeah, throwing them on parade exactly is not the right thing to do. Just go stand out there, try to keep up.
Plus, they need to see it from the other side as well, instead of just being in line, they need to see it from the side to learn it as well.
But again, these are the internal mechanics of how a Corps operates, and really is outside the sponsor committees. And you
Yeah.
could always advise the CO with suggestions.
Yeah.
See what they're saying to do, they won't do this. To a degree.
Yeah.
To a degree. Should be working together.
Well, is there anything else? We're just about due for the next seminar, so I want to thank you all for attending, and I hope we helped a little bit. Yes?
I just wanted to ask you, are these kinds of advertising pieces effective in the opinion of the ladies and gentlemen here? Just curious about this. It says, join the Walden Irish 2964 Army Cadet Corps. This is up near Sudbury. I happen to know because I was in the Toronto Irish before it was moved. And I'm just wondering, are these, does this get any attention? Do the kids ever, who may show up, mention they had seen something like this?
That one's good for the parents.
Yeah.
That one's not, well, realistically, I don't think it's good for the kids.
It should be true for everybody testing because there's 3 mistakes.
What I found where our core works the best is when we go on tag days, as parents, we're with the kids that are tagging, or the cadets that are tagging, and I'm always prepared with recruiting brochures, with CDs, with information, and whenever I see a family of potential cadets walk through a door at a store where I'm tagging, I take that family right aside and I said, do you know anything about the cadet program? Do you know it's free? Do you know? And I just bombard them, and that word free? Oh, and, so I find that when we get new cadets at our Corps, they will come to me and they'll say, oh, do you remember me? You talked to me at. So it's kind of that parent to parent for us.
Personal contact.
Right. Or it's the cadet to somebody at
is
school
another
that says,
means
hey,
of
this is fun.
advertising.
I really enjoy this.
Personal contact is always the best. You can't beat it.
Yeah.
I don't, but this is, I don't know, I'm just curious whether it's.
Well, really,
I'd be more
this
interested
hasn't
in
had a
schools.
chance. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
This really hasn't had a chance because this just came out the end of February. End of February was a competition. Again, I was trying to get the cadets to do this thing. And that's why I had this competition. This was cadets, I assume cadets did that also. That was the one they picked as a winner.
I've seen them be very
I've
colorful.
seen them before.
But I think that's a very good idea to hang in local stores or the library or places like that in your community. And it, generates maybe somebody to make a phone call or check a website or, I think that's a good
I
idea.
think on something like that, we need more pictures.
Well, that's why I kind of like this one. Of course, I'm a little biased because this is my Corps. But these pictures are what they were actually doing. They're pictures that were exercises, a couple of pictures of, well, there's a new recruit there, the young lady, things like that. It's people they know they can associate with at school and ask them questions there. That's the way I feel. I feel the cadets can be the best. I really do. Just don't give them enough chance sometimes. Well, once again, thank you very much for attending, and I hope we give you a few ideas, and watch out for the stampede.